doctors' offices, etc. And it's just so wonderful. But we need to take it to the next step. We need people to start doing their own shows, doing their own, truth.
Well, everybody's
providing
watchmen.
Right.
Look,
there's different things for everybody, but we need to take action because we can't afford. We don't have time to do nothing.
And I think people rely on us. Look, I mean, everyone doesn't have to do a show, but everyone's got to be a watchman. Everyone's, is tasked with that responsibility. Okay, now, a couple of things that I want to get into. First, I want a couple of announcements. Remember, folks, we were talking about Sunday night's program with Steve Quayle, 9 to 12. Well, guess what? I got a call today, and I was talking to Steve today. There was a massive scheduling conflict on Sunday. We're going to move that show to Saturday. Okay, I know. Please. Okay, Saturday night, 9 to 12 Eastern Time. Saturday 9 to 12 Eastern Time, 3 hours. I know it's date night for a lot of people. It's a busy night for a lot of people, but we had to do that for a number of reasons. The biggest reason was a scheduling conflict, and with Steve and
he had something already.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but no, I mean it's fortunate that we're having him for the 3 hours. I got to tell you,
absolutely.
We're going to have him for 3 hours. Steve Quayle, Saturday night, not Sunday, but Saturday night. Yeah. That is the 11th of August. That's correct, and we will get into a lot of things. The title of the program, the working title anyway, is As Worlds Collide. The seen and unseen, and I think we're going to be getting into a lot of both hard copy or hard information as well as the spiritual, and we're going to have him to ourselves so we can really talk with him about things. And also, we're going to take look on today's program. We do want to talk with our listeners. So if you do have something to say, if you want to talk with us, do give us a call at 661-244-9839. That's 661-244-9839, and we'll get you right on. I don't want to make people hold today. I know that people held, for undue links.
And a couple other announcements. One, just in case you didn't see, we are not live streaming video yet.
Right.
So I think Troy's computer crashed. Something happened. Looks like he might be almost backed up. Now I'm not sure, but as soon as he gives us the cue, we'll reconnect and we'll let you guys know. Also, I talked to Angie today, a.k.a. Marked by Heaven, in chat, and she wanted me to thank each and every one of you who prayed for her. She is doing better. She is at her, she left the hospital and will be home tomorrow. So she said she felt the blessings, the overwhelming blessings, the prayers. She said she could feel it. And she just wanted me to make sure I told you guys that, thank each and every one of you. God bless you all. And
you guys are good.
We just got a indication from Troy that we are good, so we were going to try to hook the video back up. But we got a lot to talk about tonight. We have Obama talking about we should have a bailout like we did with the auto industry for all industries.
Before you get into that, I do want to address something from last night's show. Okay, last night's show, I received an email today from a gentleman. I'm just going to give his first name is Bob, and I'm going to read this email. Bob says this: I was listening to your August 8th report when you were talking about training of canines, and I thought I'd throw this in. I retired from the state of Texas, where I trained and handled narcotic detection canines for 20 years. Now, these are the drug dogs, of course. We were licensed by the Department of Public Safety and the DEA. Our narcotics were sent to us when we would request them from DEA. And normal amounts we would receive were usually 1 ounce each. Now, again, this is for canine training purposes. We would train numerous canines with these aids and would try to keep the aids current by replacing them every 6 months. Okay, so you're talking about drugs with a lifespan of 6 months. Why Homeland Security would order over a half ton of explosives to train canines makes absolutely no sense.
Correct. We talked about this last night. There's right. 2 components that they ordered. One serves to make the other explosive more damaging.
Right.
When it is detonated.
Well, yeah. Now, he goes on. He says there may be different orders on the various explosives. Ordering that amount makes no sense, especially when there are pseudo orders to train with, or other things to train with, basically. And he says, unlike you in this one, I believe that we're being sold, sold a hog. So, there we have verification from a gentleman, 20 years as a law enforcement officer, training canines with the DEA, that look, this is not right. This order is not, it's not about training canines. It is not about that. We told you that last night. So there's something else going on here for that amount of explosives.
Absolutely.
So,
starting off tonight, we're going to get into, I just want to talk about this, and we got a little video from Obama, if we can get that going. We have President Obama saying, let's repeat auto industry success, a.k.a. the auto bailout.
This is, now, folks, understand this. Okay, what we're doing is nationalizing. We are nationalizing this, the auto industry.
Yeah.
Okay, we are nationalizing other industries. This is what, in a form, if you study history, this is what Hitler did. This is what, in fact, this is what Chavez is doing in Venezuela. This, or has done. So there's nothing good to come of this. Nothing. Right. Nothing at all. In lieu of the video, we're going to read a little bit, and I'm going to get the link to Troy here while I'm reading. President Obama, while vilifying Mitt Romney for opposing the auto industry bailout, bragged about the success of his decision to provide government assistance and said he now wants to see every manufacturing industry come roaring back. Incredible. This is incredible.
Now, this was the auto industry bailouts were part of the TARP bailouts, correct?
Well,
were they separate or
separate, but distinctly separate, but part of the same group of things. Okay.
And you remember us reporting the other day that Rahm Emanuel cut 20,000 workers, retirees' pensions, who were non-union workers for an auto manufacturing, auto parts manufacturing industry or company, and that decision came, and also the bailout was one of the reasons also that those pensions were cut, from what it said in the article. Now, it is complete fascism to get in bed with the corporations, to give them, well, right now we'll just say give them money, give them political favors, give them, more status. Pretty much they put the corporations and their interests above the safety, the needs, and the concerns of the people of their own country. And they do this because this is where their campaigns contributions come from. This is how they can control everybody and everything, is through the corporations. They can, say what products to sell, and it's like a Bilderberg meeting almost is pretty much how it is. They have the heads of all the major companies and from the internet, from all the different industries, and they get together and they decide, a game plan or how they're going to work things and how they're going to, take the money from the taxpayers' pockets and redistribute it between themselves. And that's what they've been doing. That's what we've seen them been doing with the bailout money.
I think this is important. Troy does have that video.
Okay.
I think it's important, folks, if you can watch it. If you can't watch it, if you're listening to this by archive, go ahead and listen to the words here by Obama, and then once we get through with this, we're going to move on. But I think this is important because this is an insight into what economically this gentleman, or what Obama is going to be doing,
giving away
in the second term,
giving away our hard-earned taxpayer dollars to other corporations who are already very wealthy. I mean, you could give that to small businesses,
Well,
that would greatly affect society. But we'll go to the video.
Yeah.
And we'll hear it from the horse's mouth.
Anytime, Troy. Go ahead with that. Thank you.
I know it's hard to queue up. It's inside of an article, so.
Okay. We got it? There we go. Thanks for being patient, folks. Sometimes in fact, we should have given this before, and I apologize.
And I can see on the video it's taking a minute to load. It did the same thing on my computer, and it's up.
Well, people are looking at this, and the traffic. I mean, people are looking at this video. So go ahead, at your convenience.
When the American auto industry was on the brink of collapse, more than 1 million 1 million jobs at stake. Governor Romney said, let's let Detroit go bankrupt. I said, I believe in American workers. I believe in this American industry. And now the American auto industry has come roaring back. And GM's #1 again. So now I want to do the same thing with manufacturing jobs, not just in the auto industry, but in every industry. I don't want those jobs taking root in places like China. I want them taking root in places like Pueblo. You know, Governor Romney brags about his private sector experience, but it was mostly investing in companies, some of which were called pioneers of outsourcing. I don't want to be a pioneer of outsourcing. I want to insource. I want to stop giving tax breaks to companies that are shipping jobs overseas. Let's give those tax breaks to companies that are investing here in the United States of America, making American products with American workers and selling them around the world. That's my concern.
And there you have it. Obama wants to give welfare to corporations from the expenses of the taxpayers. And this is an article from 2011 in June from ABC, and it says that the U.S. auto industry and the successes of the $80 billion bailout for GM and Chrysler, this cost the taxpayers $80 billion to bail out GM. I forget what the TARP bailout was, $700 billion. We see this happen in Greece. They got 3 bailouts. They're broke again. Obviously, there's a problem with this. We talked about this. Albert Einstein says, you know, the same definition of insanity is doing the same thing repeatedly over and over and expecting a different result. And we know that there are plans in place that the policies are to destroy the economy. The policies are to destroy
the cloud-driven strategy.
Yes.
It's a cloud-driven strategy. You overload the system, whether it's corporate welfare or personal welfare, you know, private welfare or welfare to people. You overload the system until it crashes. Then you create like this workers' paradise, which is nothing more than the dictatorship of the proletariat. Did you read that when you were in high school? Okay, that's what we're having. You think you're in debt now, just wait for the second term, okay? You think that we're in debt now, you think that this country's economically in trouble right now, you just wait until Obama does get in for a second term.
Right, and who's going to be held accountable for this? You know, Barack Obama said, and while he was running for president, his first term, he said, I want to cut the deficit in half by the end of my first term, and if I do not accomplish that, the voters will have to hold me accountable. Well, you know, I hope they do hold you accountable. But I'm not a supporter of Mitt Romney, but Obama, you got to go. And if Obama does get reelected, it's going to be funny to watch Obama blame Obama for the mess he inherited from the last president.
Yeah, actually, that's true. I want to touch on something here. I want to touch on this because I think this is important as well. And we've got troop movements to get into. We've got Homeland Security news to get into. We've got TSA news. We've got just a number of different areas that we need to talk about, folks, and we're taking your calls at 661-244-9839. And we're asking for any first-time callers to go ahead and press the button to ask your question. We'd like to hear from you. Also, if you've got observations about vehicle movements, troop movements in this country, we want to pass this on because we're getting, look, I've been getting 3 or 4 emails a day over the last 3 days, 3 or 4 emails a day. Now, you might think, oh, we're something like 3 or 4. No, we're talking about 3 or 4 emails from people across the country about troop movements, about
with pictures, with evidence.
Yeah, and I don't have right now. We cannot disclose the photographs, okay, because we don't have that authority yet, and plus that would jeopardize perhaps the sources that we got them from.
And we're not saying we can't. We just have to see if we're able to or not.
Yeah,
and this all dovetails with what we're seeing in the news. Department of Homeland Security and U.S. military make final preparations before announcing martial law. This and article off the Intel Hub.
Yeah, and that was from the other day. And I think this is based on a compilation of things, including, not the least of which, including this information we're providing.
Exactly. Listen, informants and military personnel are coming forth anonymously to confirm that martial law is right around the corner.
Yeah, that's right.
So we have, you know, in this article it's stating that people are speaking out from the inside saying, look, there is trouble down the road. And it goes on to say, however, right now we are under a silent martial law, and citizens are reporting strange and unexplainable activity from the U.S. Armed Forces and multiple federal agencies that point to a covert preparatory operation to completely lock down America in the very near future.
That's what I believe is taking place right now. I think we're seeing the layout here for, look, I never thought I'd be saying this because to me that people who talk like this are Looney Tunes. You know, we're not going to have martial law in this country. We're not going to have it. But you know what? Incrementally, the restrictions of travel, think about it. Think about how this could be rolled out to be accepted by the American people, or at least the majority of the people who are catatonic or comatose. This is how it's going to start. This is how it begins. You start seeing the troops.
Yeah, and then they start one city, like Anaheim, California. Now Wisconsin. Now they're in, they're in St. Louis. Now they're in New York. Now they're going to be in L.A., Chicago, Miami. They're incrementally clamping down around us. Before we know it, we will have these big tanks with military or police in military gear, blurring the lines between what is military, what is police. It'll be intimidating, it'll be scary, and they will be everywhere. And, who needs a TSA on the highway when you have your streets, local streets patrolled by, 30 to 40 military personnel in these huge armored tanks?
And what are you going to do? You're going to go up against an armored personnel carrier and 6 troops. So you think you've got a 38 and you think you're prepared. It's like, look, and one thing that Steve said, we're going to be talking about this again Saturday night, folks. For those just joining us, we've had to move this program to Saturday night, and we will have the link on our website, HomelandSecurityUS.com. But if look, they're already starting, I believe, from the not from the cities now, but from the urban areas or suburban areas. I'm sorry, from the rural areas and working their way in. And again, this is something that Steve is we're going to be talking about with Steve. I do believe that we're seeing this this encroachment by the military and by the police, the federalization. And Obama's brochures. I mean,
yeah, they got the FEMA citizens. What is the FEMA Corps? It's called.
Yeah, but see,
you have the TSA.
I don't think though. See, and folks, and we'll take your opinion.
You have the EPA. I mean, you have all these federal agencies, most of which are unconstitutional, running around with all this authority, trying to implement laws that are unconstitutional. Some of the laws are not even on the books yet.
Well, this is extra constitutional.
But no, it's just amazing. And we played an audio clip for you, a gentleman who made a 20-minute video, a very inspiring video with an excellent message in it. And he basically said, we let this happen by not doing anything to speak out, or by not speaking out about it when we saw it. And this goes to something else I want to talk about. I'm not going to get into any names, but other broadcasters who are well-known, some of which are in the truth movement, or consider themselves to be in the truth movement, like to tell partial truths or hold back on some things. And me and my father had a little heated debate about this earlier. These people are doing a service, waking people up, bringing certain things to the attention of the people. 95 to 98% of the information they bring forth is accurate, it's informative, and it's important to know. But the places that they won't go, whether it's threats to your life, whether you don't want to talk about it because you don't want to alienate a certain demographic of your audience, to me, that is lying, because you are
lying by omission.
You are putting your own personal selfishness ahead of the needs of your audience, which need to know the whole truth. If you are afraid to talk about an issue because you're afraid you will offend your audience, you're not telling the whole truth. And it's not. I mean, it is a big deal. Most broadcasters, all the media, mainstream, are co-opted. They are just talking heads. They're like Obama to the world government, the NWO. These people are given scripts, told what to say, told how to spin it, and that's what they do. But there are other people out there who call themselves, people who are 100% truthful. We stand for the truth, and that's all. But when you avoid issues, when you refuse to talk about it, when you use the same tactics as the other side, in some cases, it's just
Well, it's an issue. Do you tell the look? If you're on the radio or if you're on television, and you are telling the truth, but you're stopping at a certain point. Let's say you stop at George Soros, okay, and you don't address the beyond that point, or let's say you stop at whatever, just pick an arbitrary point, and you don't go on beyond that. Does that negate what you said for that the entire? No, it doesn't, in my opinion. You should go further. You should go to the bitter end. You should expose everything. But if you don't, that doesn't, to me, that does not cast any doubt on the information that was provided to date. So I have an issue with that. Look, if somebody can give 90%, 95% of the truth out to listeners, good for them. But if we have to give the other 5%, then let's do that. Okay.
But, yeah. And, well, the reason I bring this up is,
no names.
No, but we just need to know, and it doesn't matter who is giving you the information of truth. We need to take this to the Lord. We need to do our own research. We need to, pick up where they leave off. We need to find out if what they're saying is right. You need to find out if what we're saying is right.
Yeah, I mean there's stuff beyond us that we look.
Right.
We don't know everything.
Right, but it's frustrating, and I just wanted to bring it up because it's frustrating to see people fall into that and excuse it away, like, well, maybe he was threatened. Well, that comes with the territory. If you are afraid to die for telling the truth, then don't get into the business of telling the truth. We've been there.
Okay, we've had this. We've been there, and that's exactly right. Let's go. I'm going to go take a phone call. I don't want to make people hold. I really don't want to make people hold. And if you're just listening, just tell me. But I'm going to go to the phones. 856 area code. Are you there?
Yeah, Sheila. Hi, Dr. Joe.
Hi, Sheila. Yeah.
Hey,
what's on your mind?
I just wanted to tell you that whatever happens to this country lays at the feet of the American people. If the people weren't listening, if they haven't caught on by now what this man is doing to our country, they deserve everything they get.
Yes, they do.
They deserve everything they get.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, and I think that, I believe that, and I wrote an article today. It's on HomelandSecurityUS.com, Barry Soetoro, the Invisible Man, and I kind of got off on a tangent down below in the article where look, I took people to task because there comes a time in politics when there comes a time in our nation where politics has got to take a back seat to the survival of our nation. We've let this stuff happen to us. And it's past that time. I didn't mean to take I didn't mean to talk over your
No, you're fine, Doug. I just need to hear what you're saying. But the thing is, if you noticed, he went after the Catholic Church, tried to force them into giving birth control to all their employees and whatnot, and they had to give it to him for free. See, he's a master with that free world word, and the people bought into it, the women. Shame on them, because I guarantee you, he gets another 4 years, he's going to take it back.
Yes.
He's going to take it back. He's going to destroy our country. And if you see the military up and down your street, people, you've asked for it.
Sheila, let me ask you a question. Okay, I know that I know the old saying that it's the lesser of the two evils, but to me evil is still evil. But that said, do you believe, Sheila, and I'm asking you because I mean I don't know the answer to this. I don't know what you believe, but do you believe the election of Romney would change anything? No?
No. I only say that because he was governor of Massachusetts. He nationalized our health care up there. That was enough for me right there. We can't afford to take them at their word at this point. We are so in trouble here. We can't trust them. And these people sitting and listen to this propaganda on the news, the commercials, it's nothing but a sham. And they got to wake up, but we don't have a country. Period.
Yeah.
It's going to let people speak.
We totally agree with you, and I think that it's both sides of the same coin, Romney and Obama. I think that the elections, the politics that we're seeing, what really got me, Sheila, and again, well, I'm not going to apologize for that, but what really got me yesterday okay, is when I watched the video clip of Sean Hannity talking to Wayne Allen Root. Now, folks, if you don't know who Wayne Allen Root was, he's a 2008 Republican or Libertarian candidate for VP. And Sean Hannity said about this, about Wayne Allen Root, he said, I went to Columbia, graduated, you know, with the same year as Obama did. Never saw the guy. Anyway, and he postulates that Obama, and folks, you probably heard this, he postulates that Obama had went to Columbia via foreign aid or using foreign aid as a foreign exchange or a foreign student. Okay, what got me was Hannity saying, well, this could be used strategically. I'll show you mine. You know, you show me yours with by Romney to Obama. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. Is that what we're reduced to? Instead of demanding complete transparency and accountability by Barack Hussein Obama or Barry Soetoro, the guy that we don't even know who's in the White House, you're playing political football with our national security, and you know, so you know, and until Romney comes out and says, look, I want to know who you are, I want your records, you know, okay, I will show you mine, and he should be transparent, but I want to see yours. And until these people stand up and start demanding accountability by these people, by every elected official, then we're not going to change. Nothing's going to change.
Right, and I want to add to this. We have people like in the Tea Party movement, and I see a lot of the journalists, even in the alternative media, doing this. You know, well, Alan West is, you know, this and that, and Michelle Obama. Okay, they support the NDAA. You voted for the NDAA. You are a traitor to this country.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
But, yes.
Right. You know what I would like to see happen?
Tell me.
There's a real great awakening across this country. And here we've got these two conventions coming up. They've made the American people the enemy. Now we're into a place where the IEDs are coming out now. Every American that wants to call themselves an American, that can see what this dirtbag is doing, close up shop, everybody, make their way to these conventions with the big banner saying, we love our military, we don't want them handed over to the UN, because a lot of them probably don't even know that, you know, make it all aware, and everybody across this country, if we want to save it. And I know it sounds extreme, but they can't take on millions of people, and we've had enough. And if they keep offering the free, and these people keep wanting to take it, they've destroyed this country.
You know, God bless you for saying that, because, look, I always say, you know, you can bully one. The TSA at the airport can bully one person. They can bully two people. They can bully a family. But when you swarm an airport, you know, en masse, and say, look, we're not going to take this anymore. You're not going to nuke us. You're not going to grapple us. You're not going to grope us. You're not going to rape us. Then things will change. But until that time, nothing's going to change. So you're right. Let's get those people down, and let's show solidarity.
Exactly.
But you know.
Last night. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Last night you had a young man call you up, and he made a comment about the TSA making their way to elementary and high schools.
Yes, yes.
The people's got a voice. The people got a voice. I had two situations where where my kids were concerned, and I had to go and fight, and I won.
Good.
All in the name of my kids. And you do have a voice. You can change things, but the people got to wake up, man. And I'll tell you something else. The military comes up the street, I will be out there. And I will have my husband's Constitution in my hand. He carried his pocket, in his back pocket.
Before you go out there, Sheila, grab a few neighbors with you, okay? But if you have to do it alone, you know, I would do it alone as well. Look
right.
Tiananmen Square, right? What happened there?
Tiananmen Square, yeah.
Okay, if that's what it's going to take, if Sheila is going to do that, then everyone should do that.
Yeah.
Well, I got to walk around with a brace on, and I would not hesitate to take it off, crawl out the door, and I would ask to talk to their superiors.
No,
and prove to me where the legality is.
Yeah, that's very true. Now, you know, look, but I'll tell you what, this is going to work a lot better. You know, and we'll take a video camera with you, and also take some, you know, other people if you can. But you know, we're going to need to really be together in this, Sheila. I mean, we're going to need to support,
We are in big trouble. I'd even go so far as to say, don't even pay your taxes. These politicians want to go to these same time, make the American people the enemy here. Oh, no. It's not right. It's a slap in the face to the people. They need to up.
Indeed.
It's so frustrating. You know, day before yesterday on Alex's website, I saw a big title that said, Congress wants to relax posse comitatus.
Yeah, well, yeah. But posse comitatus really, I don't want to say it's not an issue anymore, but it's not. I mean, it's if you search posse comitatus and there's an article, I think it was in the American Thinker or by some constitutional lawyer who said that by statute we've actually destroyed posse comitatus or repealed it by statute, or it doesn't exist anymore, which surprised me. But
well, I tried to read the article and I just got to admit I had to step back because you can see where we're heading here. And I'm telling you, I'm going kicking and screaming, and shame on these people out here that wants to vote for him because he wants to hand out something free. He's totally disrupted the church, and all the churches now are getting in an uproar because they're trying to force this abortion and birth control off into the church. And it's just, it's going to burn in hell. These politicians are all going to burn for what they've done.
Yeah. Sheila, we got a couple of important calls, one on troop movements and another one. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we let you go?
Yeah, I just wake up.
God bless you. Yeah, amen to that. Thank you, Sheila.
Thank you for your powerful and inspiring calls. We love them.
She's a great lady all the time. Look, we're gonna kind of take you out of order here. We're gonna go to somebody in the 801 area code, who's got some information about some military movements here in the continental United States. Go ahead. You're on the air with Doug and Joe Hagmann.
Hey, Doug. Hey, Joe. Look, it was actually my wife Cheryl that saw this morning. She's kind of timid here and never been on a talk radio show, but let me just give her like a minute to break down what you saw, and because she's so scared, I'll take it from there and we'll just hang up, okay?
Oh, sure, not a problem.
Okay. Hi, Doug. Hi, Joe.
Hi, Doug. Hi, Joe.
Hey.
So this is the weird thing. I go to work every time really early in the morning, same time every day. And today I got on the freeway and there was all these white, I don't know if they're vans, buses, but they didn't look right. There was like 6 of them. And I was following them the way to work. So I get to the exit before my work, and if they changed the lane, everyone changed lane with them, and it was just weird. And they were going fast, like 80 miles an hour.
Really?
No one pulled over, yes. And so I couldn't keep up to see what they said. It just was weird to me. So then they exited the exit before I go to work, and I was like, that's weird. And so I go to work, and I called my husband, and I'm like, call me because I saw something weird today because it didn't fit in. I do this route every day of my life. So I go outside at work to do a garbage run, and I see 6 more of them going down the street of my exit. Towards Camp Williams. I didn't know what it was. It just seemed weird.
Okay.
Dude, these guys were going fast. They were together. If one turned a lane, they all turned a lane. They followed each other all the way there. And I don't know what it is. It was just weird.
Okay.
Okay.
And what could it be? It's not normal. I'm telling you, it was not normal. I do this route every day of my life for years.
These are government vans, or tell us about the vans.
Yeah.
Okay, they're white. Okay, they were white. They were going so fast that I didn't want a ticket. So I was like, God, what kind of vans are these? Because they were so weird. They were like following each other everywhere. And when I turned and I got to work, because I kind of have a eyesight problem, and I saw them all again, I'm like, this has been like 45 minutes since I've seen them turn off the exit before my exit. And I'm real close to Camp Williams where I work.
No, I don't. I mean to interrupt, but just going to ask you this question: was it the shape of the van? Was there markings on the vans, or was it the way they were driving? What was it that made you suspicious?
And how many of these vans were there?
She said at least 6.
At least
there was 6.
Okay.
There were 6 of them. And if one changed the lane, they all changed the lane.
Okay.
And I guess evidently they were going at high speed. Anyway, you know, Doug, Joe, you know, Cheryl and I listen to you every night. She had a very, very strange experience this morning, and we just wanted to, you know, put it out there. There's some time ago, I think it was last week, you know, I read an article or was listening to some other blog talk radio where, you know, some vans were filled with, you know, foreign military at like a Walmart. So
right.
this was just kind of strange when I get this call in the morning from Cheryl. So anyway, and not to belabor this, we just wanted to get the information out to you that, you know, there are some things that are, you know, happening here that are just weird.
Man, I'll tell you, we need to keep our eye on this. Now, what part of the country? You said Camp Williams. Where is that? What part of the country?
Utah.
Yeah, you know, I guess they put a new facility out there in Camp Williams, I guess southwest of Salt Lake City. Yeah, it's a NSA site.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Okay. All right. Now I can see. Okay. Now I'm beginning to think, because I got a report from. Okay. You know something? Your report is consistent with one I got on Monday from a listener. Were they high profile vans? Like, because there's about a dozen parked outside of a let's see, this was a Walmart, and they had now this is different than what you folks know about on YouTube, but they had foreign troops, foreign-looking troops inside these vans. And
I've seen recently white trucks in our area that have some kind of, you know, environmental enforcement, you know, things that are definitely out of place, new, never been around before. I've seen, I mean, we've seen our share of odd things, especially in our travels.
Yeah, it's different. But okay, Cheryl, I want to thank you for you know, for your observations, and sir, I want to thank you as well for calling in.
Yeah,
this is important, and we're going to kind of put all this stuff together. We're going to keep an eye on this.
Yeah, we need to bring this out.
Like I said, this is just another dot. Okay, and hey, good evening. It's a great show, and we're going to continue listening. Take care.
All right.
Well,
God bless you.
God bless you.
Man, I'll tell you what.
Both of you guys.
We are dot connectors. That's what we need to do, is connect those dots.
Yeah. Next, we are going to take a call from.
Let's go.
I got the name here. Hold on. Okay. Court. Hold on. We're going to bring it up.
Okay. We're going to court. Court's up next, and we're going to court right now.
You're live.
How you guys doing?
Good, man.
Excellent.
What's on your mind?
I want to tell you guys, first of all, Diane of Freedom Wings speaks highly of you. I've been on your show a few times, and I'd like to say also that I think highly of you as well.
Well, thank you.
You guys are respectable people. With that saying, I want to delve into something that may not be in your comfort zone. I've got a few spiked up that I can post in the web chat if you don't mind. We have to realize something here. Okay, fantastic then. I'm in the right room.
No, hold on a second, though. When I say that, as long as it's in good taste, I don't want to see any dancing girls or dancing boys or anything like that.
Sir. No, sir.
All right.
There's quite a few people in this room that know who I am, and I would never, ever, I used to do a BTR show years ago. I would never do anything to give your room a bad name.
Not a problem.
I hope.
No. I was just kidding with you.
I know, man. You have to say it.
Here's
the thing.
Yeah, let's get to the point here. What's going on?
Here's the thing. We have to realize what happened in 1871 is our country, the United States of America, the USA, had been turned into a corporation. The reason that Obama's birth certificate doesn't matter, Romney's tax bracket doesn't matter, is because they're CEOs of a business. If you don't mind, what I'd like to drop into the room, I got a lot of things going on here, guys, is I can bring you up to USC, United States Code. The USC, which explicitly says the U.S. is a federal corporation. If you go to Dun and Bradstreet, you can see that every police department, every judge, everything that we think is authority is a federal corporation.
Right, we've seen that.
And here's my
I have documents
so
and
here's my thing. I'm going to take this from where we are today, and I'm going to take it 20 years in the future. Here's the thing. They're corporations, fellas, and if you become, and I know the sovereign word, and I don't like it either. I'm not saying become a sovereign. There are ways of us taking our rights back outside of the corporation. The republic still exists. The problem is we're still caught up in this democracy, which is who you voting for, Obama, Romney? Well, Obama did this, Romney did that. They're just political figures for the corporation.
Right.
The republic still exists, and it kind of boggles my mind that when I bring forth this truth, everybody, even though it's fact, under the USC, I'm still told I'm wrong. So if you don't mind, I would like nothing more under Cornell law. Cornell, not court law, Cornell. I'm going to drop in there.
We have we've got the documents which you're referring to. We've seen them. It's
they say under treaties that the King George and through the Vatican that they Great Britain is still in control of the USA plantation.
Right. And look, I've got no problem with this, with you posting this information. I understand, okay, that under the 1738, I believe it is, the doctrine, Treaty of Peace doctrine. That's what's cited just here, but there's other. And others in the USC, which is the United States, the U.S. Code, that we are indeed a corporate entity, or at least classified as a corporate entity subjugated under maritime law, I believe. Are you going to quote maritime law as well?
Yes, it's maritime law, which is Uniform Commercial Code.
Right, I'm sorry, UCC, that's correct. Enforced by the or delineated within the USC. I understand that. Okay, so yeah, feel free to do that. But that said, I mean, where are we going with this?
You're looking for the remedy, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay, here's the remedy. Did you know the time of your birth, you had a live certificate of birth? Within 7 years of your birth certificate, as many people understand, I call it the live certificate of birth because there is a difference between the two. Did you know that under law, you are considered dead? Therefore, what they are doing, your corporate entity on your driver's license, your credit card, they're holding all of your securities in trust.
Yeah.
What you have to do, here's the remedy. You have to take your live certificate of birth down to the county recorder and record it unto them that you are a live man. Once you become a live man and you're no longer a dead man, then you can reclaim all those securities, including your property.
Now, do they also consider you not dead, but is it, am I wrong, is it they consider you less than human? They don't consider you a person or a human? They consider you an animal?
You're getting words and definitions mixed up.
Okay.
Let me give you an example. I don't know how many people are listening have ever been pulled over by the cops. If you ever hear them, they say, do you have any weapons on your person? Your person's the corporation. You have to tell them, no, I'm not a person, I'm a living man. When you become a living man, you supersede the law. And careful, easy, I know everybody's, all the drops running through their mind. I get it. There are laws that you still have to abide by. Injure, steal, or faulty contract, which is common law. If you go before canon law and go back to God's law, injure, steal, or faulty contract, which is what we know today as common law. You're not a person.
Yeah.
When a cop asks you, is there a weapon, is there a firearm on your person, he's asking you about the corporation. You have to understand there's a difference between the two of you.
Court, I definitely understand where you're coming from, what you're saying. I understand, and our audience also is pretty informed on these issues, the sovereign citizen, the different ways to go about claiming your sovereignty. Listen.
Wait a minute. Sovereign citizen is a conundrum. You can't be a citizen and be sovereign at the same time.
I knew
you are not a U.S. citizen. You are an American nationalist.
You're a
citizen.
Yeah, but go on.
A citizen operates under UCC law. An American nationalist has diplomatic immunity.
Okay.
You have to change your domicile.
No, I understand. I guess my question is, and I appreciate you calling in with this information because, you know, some people, and this is stuff we went over and had other people on that have talked about this and other callers and how to do this, but really, what we're looking for solutions, and I know this takes you off the grid, and it can, if you're successful at it.
I want to emphasize something. This is the solution. Unfortunately, most people can't comprehend this.
But wait, Court, let me ask you. Wait a second, Court. Hold on a second.
Go ahead, sir.
I mean, if every citizen
wait a second. Let me ask this question. Hold on a second, Court. You said something earlier. You take your birth certificate down and to the recorder or the courthouse or whatever department of the courthouse you say you want to register as a live person or something to that effect. I'm paraphrasing now. Did you do that?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so talk me through the process. And I'm not trying to be antagonistic. I want to know this. Talk me through the process. I've got my birth certificate right here.
What you do is you take your live certificate of birth.
Right.
It's legally in UCC, if you have not told them you're alive, they proclaim you're dead.
Okay,
so therefore they put.
But talk me through. No, talk me through the process. I take this. I get in my car. Okay, I'm sorry. Go on. But what department of the county courthouse do I go to?
Here's the thing. I live in Indiana. I go to the county recorder.
Okay.
There are different entities in different states. Now, a majority of the states have county recorders. Now, I've lived in multiple states. And in Michigan, you go to the district court. I used to go to the 63rd District Court. Okay. I can tell you a judge and all of that. What I'm telling you is, more importantly than where you go, because this is a process for, it's kind of like studying. I'm telling you, if you live in Indiana, you go to the county recorder, and you tell them, I'm giving acknowledgement that I'm a living man. I'm no longer dead. I'm here.
Right.
Hello?
Right.
And when you do that, all the securities that you've put up front of your entire life come back to you. On top of that, you are the king of your own domain. Meaning, have you ever heard the castle doctrine or the king of my own domain?
Yeah.
Castle doctrine still applies.
Now, Court, have you done this?
Yeah, he said he did.
Okay. And what did you receive, or what did, I mean, after you completed this, what were the benefits?
Here's my thing. I'm going to give you a quick lowdown because there's not enough, time in one show to express everything I'm trying to teach everybody. My house is paid for because the bank never gave consideration. meaning the money is made out of thin air, so you really gave me, or the individual I quote-unquote paid, we gave them nothing. So the house is paid for. If you want to pass on property, I'm sorry,
wait, okay. You had a mortgage, and by doing this, in other words, you received a satisfied certificate of mortgage satisfaction?
Here's how it works on mortgages. Go down to the Treasury and ask the treasurer what you have to pay in excise tax. It's probably $10 or $20. After you pay that, you will notice your mortgage company will back away from your security. You have to pay the excise tax, not property tax, the excise tax.
Yeah.
When you pay it, $10 or $20, the mortgage company will send you a letter saying, we've released our security.
Well, Court, this is beyond, from my understanding. I'm not too familiar with this, and I would have to see the paperwork and how it's worded to understand. And but
we'll go ahead. Here's what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and put the links in the chat room. Let's take a look at it, and let's revisit this when we have, perhaps.
The links, and you made a good point. I can drop them. That's fine. But the problem is most people want a quick way out. They don't want to study. And I only come here, honest to God. There's people in your chat room tonight that know who I am. They've known me for 4 to 5 years.
Right.
And that I would never, ever come online and tell you some BS. I would, because I'm going to hurt other people if I'm wrong. I would never do that. Here's my thing. Go to the county recorder and ask. Say, hey, if I pay my excise tax, what happens then? You don't say anything, just ask questions. The reason I do this and make a fool of myself, because most people don't comprehend this, is because I'm just trying to help them, man. I'm living it right now. And the excise tax is the key to your property. Now, as far as property taxes are concerned, you have never gone to the courthouse and told them I'm living. And when you tell them you're living, you are the king of your castle. Therefore, no more taxes. You have to take your life certificate of birth and have it notarized and take it to them and say, I'm a living man. I'm not dead anymore.
Okay, Court, can you, you said you were going to post some stuff in the chat room. Can you please post some people who want to get in contact with you, want some more information? Can you post the information that you wanted to, plus if you want to be contacted, your contact info in there so people can get a hold of you and get further information?
Yeah, I've got no doubt about that. I mean, I've got no doubt there's issues behind me.
I mean, just because I'm unfamiliar with this, we can look into it a little bit further and maybe, after we understand this better, explain to everybody in the way we, do it, what's going on here. And I've heard people, say exactly what you're saying. I know people who have said they've been sovereign citizens. I've just never seen the paperwork, the documentation, etc.
Sir, you have to realize something, please, and I don't mean to interject. You are not a sovereign citizen. You can't be free and under control at the same time. Citizen is the key. Look up the definition of citizen. Please, you're not a sovereign. You've been listening to TV too much.
No, I don't watch TV, caller. We are very informed. I understand what you're saying. I understand that there is people who, do this, become sovereign citizens, therefore withdraw themselves from the United States. They say they can are no longer or have to pay taxes. And but I've also seen a lot of people who have said that they've tried to do this and have had problems with it.
Yeah. And they've gone to jail over it. Winston Shrout, look it up. Winston Shrout went to jail for 8 years over this for A for V, which means accepted for value. He went to jail for a very long time over this because he screwed up one thing. This is very serious stuff, and the government doesn't want you knowing this. Most people don't realize your land is owned by the Queen of England. You own your home, but you don't own your land.
Okay, look, Corey, we're facing the top of the hour break right now, man. Go ahead and post it in chat. We will visit this, and you know, I don't mean to cut you short here, but I think
that's fantastic, brother.
I think we've
Thank you for giving Thank you for giving me the time that you did. Thank you.
No, not a problem. Absolutely, and we'll do it again once we understand better. Please post that information in there, and we will grab it, and the people who are interested grab it from there. We'll be back. You're listening to the Hagmann and Hagmann Report this Thursday, August 9th, 2012. We'll be back on the other side taking your phone calls, covering some current events, and much more.
Hi folks, Doug Hagmann here. You might know me as the co-host from the Hagmann and Hagmann Report, or as a frequent guest on Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. If you're like me, you're tired and confused over today's headlines. You just don't know where to turn for accurate, concise information about really what's going on, what's truly going on in today's society. If you don't know where to turn for accurate, well-researched, and properly vetted news, I've got a suggestion. In fact, it's a requirement. Bookmark Canada Free Press. That's canadafreepress.com on the internet. It's just not for Canada. It's for news across the world. Judy McLeod, founding editor, has put together a vast array of talented writers like Kelly O'Connell, Daniel Greenfield, Dr. Eileen Johnson-Powell, a lot of guest columnists, very talented writers. Folks, that's Canada Free Press at canadafreepress.com. Now mobile friendly. Follow on Facebook, because without America, there is no free world.
Survival of the fittest. In any and all situations, survival is your #1 priority. That requires being tough and thinking smart. And the folks at Freeze Dry Guy are going to help you do just that. They have the long-range patrol ration entrees, what they call the Brick Pack. When you're in survival mode, it is absolutely the best item for your survival pack or bug-out bag. You can go farther, faster, and carry more food with the LRP cold weather ration entrees. Not only do these long-lasting, durable entrees help sustain you or your family through the harshest environment or situation, they are by far the most delicious of their kind. No contest. With a variety of tasty entrees, you can't beat the LRP Brick Packs. Let Freeze Dry Guy help you in your survival situations. Go to freezedryguy.com. That's freezedryguy.com, or call 866-404-3663. That's 866-404-FOOD.
You better wake up fast and listen to this, America. The Obama campaign has launched attack squads disguised as truth teams dedicated to intimidating and silencing all political dissent carried over the internet that criticizes the Marxist Obama. Truth squads specifically focused on covering up Obama's endless trail of lies, corruption, and subversion, and using the Gestapo power of our own government to police and censor the internet and shut down websites that dare to carry the real truth about Obama's Marxist coup. Remember the names of these Gestapo-style agencies at work right there in your neighborhood: KeepingHisWord.com, KeepingGOPHonest.com, and AttackWatch.com. KGB, SS, and Gestapo-style police-state gangster organizations at work to silence the important voices of patriot dissent, some of which have already been shut down by Obama's orders. Adolf Hitler would have been proud. We're the 21st century Tea Party patriots.
If you're stumped, you don't know what kind of gift to give to a friend or a loved one, I'm telling you, you must go to 4physics.com. That's the numeral 4, PHYSICS.com. This is your one-stop shopping palace. That's the only way I can put it. I could spend easily an hour on this website. Innovative, fun, educational. There are games, books, weather instruments, unique time-telling devices, jewelry, optical devices, laboratory equipment. Let me give you an example. We all know we can tell time with a sundial. You've seen those advertised. Did you know that you could tell time by the stars? At 4physics.com, You can buy a horologium nocturnum. This was a navigational device used in the 15th century by navigators at night to tell time by the stars. It's beautifully crafted in the shape of a pendant made of bronze and pewter or gold and silver. Absolutely a stunning gift. I would be proud to give it to anyone. You must go to 4physics.com. Even if you're not stumped, that's 4physics. That's the numeral 4, PHYSICS.com. It's your one-stop shopping palace. Any problems that you have, I don't know what to get Grandpa, I don't know what to get my loved one, that's unique, you will find it at 4physics.com. Please take my word for it. Go to the website, but give yourself a lot of time because you're not going to want to leave. 4physics.com.
Doug Hagmann, one guy that doesn't need a bullhorn to get your attention.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to this Thursday, August 9th, 2012 edition of the Hagmann and Hagmann Report. My name is Joe Hagmann. My co-host is Doug Hagmann. Together, we are the premier father and son radio host team, fastest growing show on the internet, and that is all due to you, our listening audience. We're going to go right back to the phones. We are going to start with, let me bring up my screen here, sorry about this, guys. We are going to go to area code 305 and then go to Marco after that. Area code 305, you're on the air with the Hagmann and Hagmann Report.
Area code 305, you're up.
Hey.
Hey.
Is that me?
That's you.
Okay, well, I guess I didn't know I was in queue. I was listening, but...
Well, we could... go ahead.
Well... I guess I was listening to the, to you talking about, everything with the country and everything. But I guess I'm on a different place right now with that. I just don't really think there's any political solution.
Yeah, as Steve says, there's no political solution for a spiritual problem. That's correct.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with Steve. And anyway, if you don't mind me just putting a little thing out that I've been laying here thinking about, something, I'll get real quick, something that I've been reading. I've been reading this blog about the different things with the Olympics and everything.
Right.
And I was seeing this one thing that this person put out that was talking about the cauldron that's burning over there, and the thorns and everything that are on that, and how it's a representation of the burning bush with Moses, and how Moses talked with the Lord, and the Lord's message to Moses was to take the people, and that he was going to take them up to the land of Canaan, the Canaanites and the Hittites.
Right.
And that they were going to go to the land of the milk and honey, and that land would become their land. And because God was giving it to his heirs, because the Hittites and the Canaanites and everything were of the lineage of Ham, which was the lineage of Lucifer, from back to the garden.
Okay.
And anyway, to bring it forward to the cauldron, when the cauldron collapses over there, that was a magic circle that was brought about over there. There was all kinds of magic going on over there, supernatural. This isn't. It's hard to grasp it because we're not part of the Luciferian cult. But anyway, there's all this magic going on, this alchemy going on. And when the bush collapses, all of those thorns are going to have, those copper thorns are going to have the names of countries, and there'll be 240 of them going out. So it'll be like when the Jews were brought into the land of milk and honey and took over the land from the Canaanites and all of that. This will be the Luciferians bringing the
Right. Yeah. Okay.
You got the concept?
The concept is yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's of the reverse. It's the you know what I mean? It's the Antichrist going out. It's Lucifer going out.
Right. Well, what you're saying is there's a lot of occult going on.
Yeah, it's all occult. And that's what we've got going on now. There's no political solution to this. This is all the Luciferian thing going on now. This is prophecy. This is coming down the way it's coming down. You can't reverse this with Mitt Romney or Barack Obama or any of these people. This is end times playing out. This is God's.
Okay. Yeah. Look, we agree with you. Now, we appreciate your sentiments. We agree with you.
Okay, so you can put me back on hold and go.
All right.
To your other.
Okay, very good.
Thank you
so much for your call. And we're going to go right now to Marco. Marco, you're on with Doug and Joe Hagmann. Go ahead. Marco, you're up. Hey, Marco. 702 area code. Marco, you're up. Okay, if this is not Marco, but you're calling from the 702 area code, you're up, going once. All righty then. Let's go to the 304 area code. I'll dribble on myself here. 304 area code. You're on with Doug and Joe Hagmann.
Hi, Doug and Joe. This is your old concealed carry trainer from down in Wheeling, West Virginia, with the German Shepherd. How you doing this evening?
Good. How the dog's doing?
Doing good.
All right.
Almost adopted another one today, but I asked him the magic question if he listens to Hagmann and Hagmann. If he nodded his head, he might be coming into the fold pretty soon.
Well, I got to talk to you, man. I need a travel companion, and our current shepherd is he's just not up to the task right now. We're going to have to put him in retirement, so I might have to.
This young man, he's looking for a good home, and he's only 2 years old. And I already have Ford on these guys, so he might be a good companion for y'all. But we can talk about him, if you'd like, later on.
Indeed. What's on your mind?
Well, I've been trying to study this situation since 2007, and I'm a mortgage broker also down here in Wheeling, West Virginia. Had a lot of friends that worked in Wall Street. When all this went down in 2007, I was the prototypical Republican sitting down here towing the party line for President Bush, and they told me Fannie Mae was strong as a bull until I found out they had 2 sets of books. That kind of stuff all happened, and you start asking questions about yourself. And I continued to ask these questions. For example, why is this election so low-key? If you look in Wheeling, West Virginia, you won't find one sign in any yard for either candidate, okay? And so I called the Republican National Committee guys in West Virginia, down in Charleston. They normally would call back. I asked them, what are we doing to try and get our candidate elected? No response. I called the Romney campaign, asked them what their organization is in West Virginia. Their response was, we really don't have any. So, I'm starting to think that they're playing this thing down so much because maybe it's just predetermined that Mr. Obama is going to get back in. I don't know what you think about that, but
well, you know what? That's one thing I've noticed where I live, and we travel constantly too much, and that's kind of like I've got mental road rash today, and then folks, I apologize for being a little off, but that's one thing I have not seen a lot of signs, political signs for the presidential race.
Yeah.
Outside of Ron Paul.
Yeah, we have Ron Paul everywhere over here in our area. I mean, literally, You can drive around 2 blocks in any direction without finding Ron Paul signs, but no Obama. I saw one Obama bumper sticker since the whole election process began.
But caller, you make a great point. Do you think I mean, given the fact that you made those phone calls and got that response, what are you led to believe? I mean, look, I know you're an intelligent guy. I know that, and I know that you're right on the money with things. So, what's your gut telling you?
My gut's telling me, and listening to you guys last night about, we have C-130s fly over Wheeling, training every Thursday evening. Okay, right. They fly up the Ohio River. There's a squadron of 3. We've got a Black Hawk squadron up at the Ohio County Airport. And these guys, they have legitimate reasons for being here. They're looking for marijuana. They stay out in the fields of Ohio County, West Virginia, which I find amazing. But,
my neighbor does that.
Well, you can never tell. But, when they go on Bravo...
Not gross. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Hey, when they go on Bravo Alert and you hear about these things, and you start to think to yourself, if this is so low-key, and what do they have in the wings that they're planning? There must be something going on. Whether or not, my gut tells me they're doing all this and playing this election down because, number one, they realize a percentage of the American population is awake now, and they don't want the rest of the people to wake up. So they're going to keep this as low-key as possible with the intent, whether it's the Illuminati or the people behind with the puppet strings, to keep him in office. I really do believe that because, Mitt Romney in West Virginia is an enigma. I mean, realistically, he doesn't exist down here as a candidate. No one knows what he stands for. We don't really get it at this point. We'll vote for him, just like we did John McCain, and it will go Republican. But, he's not doing anything to better his chances at all, I mean, in the state. So I guess my gut's telling me I think the rig is in, the fix is in. And, we've been sitting here, and I've been the same way like you guys. I've been watching this whole thing unfold, trying to put the puzzle pieces in place. And now I'm to the point where I'm saying there's nothing legitimately we can do. And I go back to that movie, The Untouchables. You guys ever watch that with Sean Connery and Kevin Costner?
Yep.
Okay, remember that scene when Sean Connery says, "What are you willing to do?"
Yes.
Okay. If they bring out a knife, are you going to bring out a gun? Okay, so we keep sitting here and taking all this. At some point, the American population, or at least the percentage that are awake, as our forefathers did, because there was just a small percentage of them, and, the original 13 colonies that stood up to the crown, we're going to have to stand up to the crown. Okay, so my question to your audience and to you guys, what are you willing to do?
Well, I'll tell you what,
it's a good question, though.
You see what we are willing to do. We started this show with, little expectation. We
started, that's right.
We never had the expectation. We wanted to do something, and I hope everybody can, have this attitude.
You do what you can with what you've got, and you put your neck out, you go forward.
Find something that you can do to affect change, the change starts locally, like I said, start supporting your local businesses instead of the big chain stores. Start, going to city council meetings. Go try to get elected on the school board, on a city council spot. I mean, we have to do this incrementally, like they did it incrementally in the takeover. But I know we're short on time, but we need every day to be warning people, to be helping people, and to be living the example and be the change ourselves.
But caller, you said something very interesting. You said that the enemy right now, and I agree with this, the enemy to those in power right now is an informed, awakened populace. They're threatened by that. Hence, we're seeing the military maneuvers, the show of force, the deployment of assets on American streets. That's what I believe is taking place. And I believe what you're telling us as well, that this might be predetermined. I mean, the whole thing might be predetermined, which is why we're not seeing.
Well, a good example, prior to the UN gun ban treaty falling apart, we called up to our senators, both Rockefeller and Manchin, and we asked, okay, what is your position on this treaty? This was the week before they were supposed to vote on it, but before it was derailed. Mr. Busak, that's my last name, we don't have a position on this. Okay, that's fine, guys. I called back after the treaty derailed, and then they go ahead and say, well, we're against it. At least Mr. Manchin did. I don't think Mr. Rockefeller would ever say he was against something like that. And then Chuck Schumer introduced that amendment to the Cybersecurity Act to eliminate all high-capacity magazines. Called back, asked the same question again. We don't have a position, Mr. Busak. We have to study it. Now, aren't these guys all in the same room, all 100 of them, you know, talking to each other daily?
Well, we like to think that. But
yeah, but I think it's the standard line. They don't want to put a position out there until they see if it fails, and then they'll go ahead and say, we didn't support it. But, you know, it's scary because I just don't think the Lord created us to be run over at the end times, because obviously in Revelations, there are people that stand up for the faith, and they go ahead and they fight back.
That's right.
And I don't know whether, I'm going to throw this out here, but, you know, and I'm already on the list with you guys, I'm sure, as an NRA instructor, so I don't really care at this point. Okay, but I think we need to consider something like a national militia in each state and tie it all together. Because if you ever listen to Jim Wesley Rawls or Matt Stein, it's going to take more than one person to defeat this. And, well, you know,
but I think it starts with one person, or can start with one person, and then grow from there. But it's going to take the courage, you know, of 100 people to be in that one person, and the courage of 1,000 people to be in that 100 people. But we can do it, you know. But you're right. We have to organize, and we have to get together. We have to, you know, get some leadership.
We have to put aside our petty differences and come together for the, you know, greater good, the restoring of the original rule of law of this country, the founding Christian principles we were based on, and we need to turn this around if we can. And like I say, since we are still alive right now, there is still opportunity, and we need to take advantage of that as much as we can.
Well, I agree with you guys, and God bless everyone out there that's listening. I know everyone has a common theme in their voices. I can hear it as I listen to your show. But, you know, I'm going to try to answer that question. You know, what am I willing to do? And I hope everyone else can ask themselves that and answer it in their own way.
Yeah.
God bless you, man.
I agree.
Thank you. And
thank you.
And man, I'll tell you what, that's
inspiring words,
and that is what we, you know,
and that's you. And he mentioned that, and this is what I was thinking about today. You know, that people need to go the extra mile, even if it's out of their comfort zone, because we don't have time to worry about, you know, our feelings as far as our self-esteem and our pride and our ego. These things get in the way.
That's right.
The thoughts of us failing, you know, how we underestimate ourselves most of the time. We all, I mean, I know I'm guilty of it all the time.
We've got to join together, and we've got to mentally and physically, or mentally at first, at least get the common theme. Let's go to Bill at 715. Bill, you're up.
Hi, Doug and Joe. How are you doing?
Good, man.
Good. Hey, this is the first time I've ever called a talk show before, and I discovered you guys about 3 weeks ago and listen nearly every night. And I appreciate
that's good. I hope you continue. Thank you very much.
You bet. Hey, I've got a couple of things just today. I get around the area that I live quite a bit, and I haven't really noticed until recently that a lot of the Army Reserve bases around here used to be based inside of the cities in which I live and the cities I have to go to.
Okay.
And now I see that they've closed most of them and moved them out to the interstate highways and the state highways. And I'm just curious if that's happening anywhere else around the country.
We can.
If anybody else has noticed that.
I can answer one. I've seen this take place in New York State in two different places in New York State, which is very interesting. I got to tell you, I don't know what's behind that. Do you, Bill?
I would love to know. I believe that number one, they're acclimating us to see these vehicles sitting on the side of the highway, so that we're used to seeing them.
Ah, the condition.
And I think, you know, I think it's to close down the highways when it's needed. All of these are located at intersections of major state highways and interstates.
I've noticed that. Yeah, which you make a good point, and it kind of is consistent with Steve's Steve's information and sources about you know, going from the rural into the urban, as opposed to, you know, our normal thinking of urban outward, you know, to quell things. But okay, very good observations. And yeah, I never, you know, I really didn't think about it in the conditioning sense to see it, but you know, but you're right. Very strategic locations near the interstates and near major choke points, if you will.
That's correct. Yes.
No. So all right.
Now the other thing that I'd like to bring up just today is I have to deal with a lot of different people every day. And I had to deal with 2 weeks ago two different gentlemen that were together. They were both in the Navy and had been both for 25 years. And they both retired this year. And I have some very interesting paraphernalia, anti-Obama paraphernalia on my vehicle. And they saw that and started talking to me a little bit about why they left the Navy. One of them, because he knows something's going on. He said he worked on a barge for the Navy, and they were, when he was still in, were moving about 250,000 tons of artillery on each load that they're moving.
Moving it to where? From where to where?
He doesn't know. He doesn't know. He takes it on a barge, it gets put onto a ship, and they don't know where it goes. He said they don't move that much. He said in the first Gulf War, they moved 70,000 tons at a time.
Okay.
And for Gulf War II, they were moving between 180 and 200,000 tons, and now they're moving 250,000 plus. So something's happening.
Okay.
The other guy, he worked on a ship. He told me the name of it, and I shouldn't say the name, but he said that they are moving towards the Middle East. They're moving massive quantities of vehicles, gear, and weaponry. So, and they both want it out before it starts.
Yeah, and I think we can agree that we're looking at a war here in the Middle East in the near term. You know, whatever that near term is, whether it's 6 weeks, 6 months, but I don't think it's going to be much longer than that.
I agree.
You know,
these guys are scared to death. So.
Wow. Okay. Well, wait. Let me ask one clarifying question. Scared about what's to come, or scared about what? You know, what this what Obama is doing, or both, or what are we looking at? I mean, it's because it seems like it's much broader than just, you know, the Obama factor.
Well, number one, they were scared for themselves, just because they can be recalled.
Right.
I believe he said up to 2 years. He's scared to death of this country. We got onto the Obama tirades, I guess, if you would want to call it that, together. That may be a subject for another day. Scared to death of what that man is doing to this country. And he's scared to death for his family. 2 of his sons are in the military, and he's scared for other families whose sons are in the military.
Yeah, those sentiments are shared by many people.
I don't know if you can answer this question for me, but since you've got people, armed forces, you know, these people in the armed forces, have you ever discussed with them, would they fire on United States citizens if asked or if required?
You know, I know 3 people that are career military, and I will ask them that, and I will report that back to you.
Appreciate that. All right, sir. I appreciate your time. Anything else before we let you go?
Not today.
All right.
Not today, but I have other things I would love to discuss someday.
Well, feel free to call. Feel free to call in and chime in anytime, because that's what this is all about. We want to give you a forum for just that, and you know, we're trying to expose the agenda that's behind this craziness that we're seeing that's going on. So
that's exactly right.
We appreciate that.
But thank you for your information and for your call, and we definitely look forward to hearing from you again.
All right.
Certainly will. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Have a great evening.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you. We're going to go to Vernon next, but before we do that, a couple news items I want to hit, because we did just hit thank a caller for the last half hour.
And we were all over the map there on some calls.
Yeah, we got a couple important pieces of information. First, out of Yahoo
Hang on,
News,
Vernon. Hang on, buddy.
Judge accused of creating unusual shroud of secrecy in movie theater shooting case.
Yes.
The former grad student charged in last month's deadly shooting rampage at a Colorado movie theater gave his religion as agnostic and his occupation as laborer when he was booked into jail, according to a document released to Yahoo News this week.
The Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office. That's the booking agency behind this.
Yeah, the booking report. They say it provides few other details about James Egan Holmes or his motive for allegedly opening fire during the midnight showing of The Dark Knight Rises. 12 people were killed, 58 wounded. It says the 24-year-old suspected gunman gave jailers his mother's name as an emergency contact. But the redacted two-page report was obtained by Yahoo News under a Colorado public records request.
But nothing of substance is known about this guy, and the lid has been clamped down on this Colorado shooter, and look as a Wisconsin shooter.
And look at Arizona; they just made a plea deal with Jared Lee Loughner.
I understand
that penalty off the table. We have no motive.
There goes discovery.
Yeah,
there goes so. Now you have to ask yourself, what's the common aspect of these shootings? You've got look, boy, here I go, MK Ultra, Mind Control, all of this.
Yeah, and what we have here is a judge who is covering up information that should be released to the public. It says, I'm weighing the public's interest versus the private interest. The public interest would not be served by disclosing additional records.
And let's stop right there for a second. We're in the business of doing background checks. We pull up a criminal record. Look, what is he keeping secret, quote, in the public interest? I want to know.
He's barring the release of search warrants, inventories of evidence, and other records publicly available.
No, I don't care what he's. I want to know what is that public interest which he is allegedly protecting. What is that public interest?
No, it's a government interest.
It's correct.
It's a criminal interest.
Correct. It is. There's something there that this guy, this judge, this administration does not. When I say administration, this Justice Department does not want us to know. There's something that stinks with the shooting. Allegedly by Holmes, if he even fired a shot, and that goes back to our reports. There's a lot that stinks about the Wisconsin Sikh temple case. There's a lot that stinks about Jared Lee Loughner. There's a lot that stinks about the collective shootings of all of this.
Yeah.
And we have to know. And you've got a judge that is saying it might not be in the public interest to disclose information that's routinely disclosed. Don't tell me, don't blow smoke at me and tell me that it's a cloud, okay?
Yeah.
No, do not do that, because that's what's going on right here.
One more news item, we're coming to Vernon after that. Army test spy blimp over New Jersey. And this isn't even the real story. The real story is in the first paragraph. The Army is testing a $517 million spy blimp in the skies over New Jersey military base where the German airship, the Hindenburg, crashed.
Yeah, I was just going to say, remember the Hindenburg? How well that worked out?
Okay, so the Army made, with your tax money, a $517 million blimp.
With our tax money.
And can they take that blimp to Afghanistan? Can they fly it there? No. Where is it going to be used?
This is all
in America.
Domestic use.
So they're using your own tax money against you, as we say over and over.
You've got drones. You've got all of this deployment of military, paramilitary, and law enforcement assets to quell what?
And I got to say, for $516 million, you could have found something a little more stealth than a blimp.
Yeah, but you'd be surprised at what you'd be surprised.
It's just incredible. I mean, the waste that goes on, and nobody cares. Nobody calls it out. People continue to pay. I don't want to tell anybody to break the law, but really, I'm at a point where I don't want to pay the government a penny, whether it be any taxes or all, because by doing that, my money is going to be used to fund abortions and to kill people with drone strikes overseas illegally, and I'm not going to have that on my conscience. And we all need to figure out a way, and if I went along and did this, I might go to jail, but it would be worth it to me because I wouldn't have that on my hands.
Just think about it. I can't remember if a caller had said this before. Think about what would happen if everybody filed an extension on April 15th and didn't pay the taxes. I mean, wouldn't that be an interesting? Wouldn't that be interesting?
Yeah.
Maybe that would be a civil disobedience in a manner that You know, I don't know. Again, it's just, look, we're always open to things. I mean, open to ideas and stuff. But let's go to, I think, Vernon. Is it Vernon? Is this you?
Yes, sir, it is.
Hey, Vernon.
Good to hear from you.
Yeah, what's on your mind?
How you gentlemen doing? Well, first of all, Doug, I'm in the market today for a Sherman tank, a 90 recordless rifle, a 50 caliber, and 2 Cougars.
Well, Vernon, I have extras in the garage.
Wait, did you say 2 Cougars?
2 Cougars.
Well, I tell you what.
You mean like tiger Cougars?
Yeah, you know, yeah, I mean, canines just don't do it no more. You have to have something a little bit more ferocious. Yeah.
No. Okay. Yeah, we got some spare inventory here. We got an Abrams.
Yeah, and I want one of those big Homeland Security tank trucks they're driving around. Where can I purchase one of those?
Thanks for making this.
Look, I tax dollars paid for it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're not even made available to the public to buy. But I could really use that thing. I think it'd look nice driving down my street in one of those.
Well, you know.
Hey.
Yeah, it's
especially in my neighborhood, it'll really go over really big. But all seriousness, we are at DEFCON 3 of the rapture taking place. And the reason why I'm saying that is because of everything that's taking place in this country, and it's going unchallenged. Number one, you know what's happening over in the Middle East. That's about to explode any given day, you know. And I truly believe that everything that has been set up in this country to take us into that martial law or into those FEMA camps, I believe all of this is going to take place after the rapture takes place. And so you can tell how close we are right now. And, Joe, you're right. It doesn't matter whether Obama's in there or if Romney's in there. You know, but I'm in the catch-22 situation here because people have died for me to have the right to vote.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, I can't in all good conscience vote for Obama. I can't in all good conscience vote for Romney, knowing they're the one and the same pockets of, you know, you had a gentleman talking about America being, or U.S. being a corporate entity coming out of England. And if I recall correctly, and little bits of information I got on that, it really came when Lincoln was funding the Civil War. And he took out these monies from Great Britain. And that's where all this came about. And it's just never been changed over. He was assassinated before he could actually change everything back over. That's my understanding of it. And ever since then, what we're seeing today has just been leading up to this very moment. We only had one president of the United States who tried to warn us back in the 60s. And every president since then has feared for their life.
You know, I agree. And just kind of as an aside, as we're talking about this stuff, you know, we were talking about you touched on the money aspect of things, or the currency aspect of things. It's 41 years ago next week, by the way, that, and I don't know, Werner, if you remember this, when Richard Nixon interrupted the Bonanza. Remember Bonanza, the television program? You remember it.
I remember the show.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sunday night, August 15th, 1971, he interrupted Bonanza and took us off the gold standard of, or disconnected us from detached us from the gold standard.
Right.
41 years ago, which
made the money worthless.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was the final nail in the coffin, you know, to cancel the Bretton Woods Agreement and what have you. So, you know, you're right. I mean, so we are quickening. I mean, there's a quickening to where we're at right now with respect to the Middle East, with respect to domestic issues. You know, Vernon, what are you hearing? What do you think is going to happen with respect to, well, I'll say martial law, or you know, the domestic clampdown here domestically on people? When do you think that's going to take place?
Eventually, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Again, my belief, the Lord Jesus Christ is going to say, come up hither first. And when that happens, it's going to be total chaos in the streets. And that'll be one catalyst, if you will, that will prompt them to put in martial law into play. Understand something. What the believers are looking for, the return of the Lord Jesus Christ, these elitists, if you want to call them that, their think tanks are looking for the same thing. Not for the same reason, but they're looking for the same thing. And they're waiting for the rapture to take place too, because, well, when the rapture takes place, this world is ours.
And, Vernon, I don't want to interrupt you here, but I do want to make this point. A lot of people get touchy when the rapture is brought up. Some people believe that there is not going to be a rapture, just a second coming of the Lord, and some people believe there is going to be a rapture. And I just want to say this. Either way, it doesn't matter, because it should not affect the way you live. It should not affect the way you behave. It should not affect the way you think. It should not affect your relationship with the Lord. And I just wanted to say that.
Yeah. So, you know.
Well, yeah. If they have a relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ, then they are looking for the groom to come back for the bride.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
That would end that rapture debate altogether.
Well,
the rapture is to take place. The Lord Jesus is coming back.
And
all the signs, everything that we talk about, you know, the dismantlement of the United States, that's one of the signs we're supposed to be looking for.
Yeah.
Okay, because this country has to be taken down to its very fiber in order for this one world government. Jesus even told them, when you hear of them speak of a one world government, then look up. Your redemption draws nigh. But in order for them to bring in a one world government into the United States, they have to tear the United States down to its very fiber. And that's what's going on right now.
Yeah, they are destroying the United States from the inside out. As we've been warned, I forget who said it, but when they did say it, they said, I fear if this country is ever brought down, it will not be from foreign invaders, but from
the within, basically.
Yeah, from people disguised. I forget how it was worded, but people who infiltrate from the inside.
Yeah, I mean, look, we've got the Muslim invasion, the Islamic invasion of our government by the Muslim Brotherhood. We've got communists who are in this government. We've got Marxists, and you know, you mentioned this, and of course, people say, well, they accuse you of being McCarthy-style tactics. Well, McCarthy was correct. If you look at history and you stop using McCarthy as a verb and look at what McCarthy uncovered, he was correct. Look at the, but anyway, I digress. But you're correct, Vernon. I mean, look, we are rotting. The rot is in this country. The rot is from within, and we're gonna suffer the consequences. And I thought of you, actually, Vernon. Seriously, I did think of you. I'm not kidding when I say this. When I did when I posted the article on our website about Barry Soetoro, the Invisible Man, Proverbs 29:12 of the King James Version Bible states, "If a ruler hearken to lies, all his servants are wicked," and that's what we're seeing today. And I thought of you when I did that, seriously, because of the reference to the Bible and the times that we've talked about in the past. But yeah, but the rot's from within.
Yeah, but it just shows one thing: how much closer we are to the Lord Jesus coming back, and that's what I'm looking for. Now, if I'm wrong, and I end up in a FEMA camp, and we've been telling people, hey, this is happening, that's happening, this is going on, this is taking place, this law is being passed, that law is being passed. Take your head out the sand, take a look at what's going on around you. If anybody in that FEMA camp turn to me and say, why didn't you tell us? That's when the hood's going to come out of me. I'm going to knock them out.
Well, we are commanded, and I don't have. I think it's in Ezekiel 3 that if we're not watching, we've got blood on our hands. If we don't profess what's going on, we've got blood. It's up to us. So you're right. Yep.
You have to tell them.
That's right.
Whether they believe it or not. One gentleman said, this guy burning in the room said, well, you got it all wrong. Well, I might have it all wrong. I pray to God that I have it all wrong. But from what I'm seeing and from what everybody's talking and reporting, no, we don't have it wrong. All you have to do is read the reports that's out there and then put it to Scripture, and you'll find they fit like a glove.
Exactly.
Anything else, Vernon, before we let you go?
Oh, no, that was it.
Keep the faith.
Keep looking up, and because the King is on his way. And for those that don't know the Lord Jesus Christ, time is short.
Boy, indeed.
And you need to know that. And that's about all I had to say, gentlemen. But God bless, and I'm still enjoying the program.
That's good, Vernon.
Thanks, Vernon.
And we enjoy your calls. You know,
and I just want to say this because we're still the chat room is calm, and I've seen it before where people would get into arguments about the rapture, and I just wanted to reiterate this statement. You know, I personally believe the second coming of the Lord will be at the end of the tribulation, and but it doesn't matter, you know.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
Okay?
I mean,
it doesn't matter. That has no effect on how you live your life
also,
today.
all things are possible through the Lord. So, you know, if there is a rapture, great. But if there's not, that's just the way it is. I mean, we have to roll with the punches, take it one day at a time. And it doesn't matter. The economy, society is going down. We're either going to have an economic crash or an implementation of a consolidated economic system controlled by unelected bureaucrats of the World Council.
That's correct.
And they definitely do not hold the interest of us first. They are the money masters. They are the people who Jesus would overthrow their tables, okay? The money changers. We know we are in a dire situation. We have a false sense of country, of nationality here with a lot of the people, a lot of the masses of people. You know, they wave the American flag proudly, not knowing or not caring that we kill innocent civilians every day all across the world, and they're supporting that through not doing their due diligence by waving that flag, which would be proudly waved for, you know, hundreds of years. Now, what it stands for is really, I mean, we are looked upon as, you know, conquerors and really the evil of the world. And that statement's not so wrong. I mean, we have the government who is carrying out this evil through the use of troops and technology, and then we have the people who support that, and then we have the people who are indifferent, which is just as bad. It's like supporting it because they don't speak out against it. And we need to do as much as we can to warn people. But I do got to say that there's an influx. There's a increase in the number of people waking up. We see it in the emails. I'm hearing it when I talk to people. They're telling me,
that's right.
You know, my family is waking up, and that is so encouraging. And that's what's important. We need to get people close to the Lord. That's our number one goal, and nothing else besides that. I mean, that's first and foremost. Secondly is reporting, you know, the current events of the world.
Look, well, okay, and just to circle this back to what's going on here in the United States, I just want to say this. We've been receiving multiple confirmations that from multiple locations across the country that our military they're repositioning soldiers in conjunction with allied foreign troops in the I guess what we'd call this would be the initial stages of martial law. Perhaps this is what pre-martial law looks like. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, we've never seen martial law in this country, but again, we're getting reports where foreign troops in conjunction with soldiers are being placed across the country. Is this what it looks like? Massive amounts of equipment. We had the callers state massive amounts of equipment across the country and out to sea being deployed. Okay, in Phoenix, Arizona, tractor trailers transporting tanks, on public highways were spotted. Of course, we saw that. I think that was documented in one recent article. Look, the acquisition of the armory by DHS and the contracts for these pillboxes, bulletproof pillboxes and such. What else are we led to believe? What else, seriously, what else are we to believe? They are preparing for war against an awakened populace. I truly think that's what's taking place here.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Sorry,
stop me. Do you need me to help you? I mean,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, all right. But also, we're looking at foreign states in Montana, Missouri, Arkansas. They're being closed to the public, while the military, military activity is being witnessed. And this, I've gotten independent confirmations of this outside of the various articles that you might see on the internet. Look, folks, whatever's going to take place is getting close. It's getting close. Now, I've also heard some information from our sources that they're deploying, quietly deploying special riot forces, a combination of law enforcement, paramilitary, and military personnel to both the Democratic and Republican conventions. And we're talking about some significant numbers. They're also not allowing protesters to avoid a repeat of the 1968 the Chicago deal, the riots. So this is a thing. These are things that we have to look for. And again, we've got this massive assault on our freedoms. And
yeah, our freedoms, our religion, our bodies, our minds, our souls. These people are trafficking in souls of men. These people are working their hardest to bring the Word of God as far away from you as possible. These people are working to bring Satan into your life by the absence of God. When you watch TV before you would read the Bible, when you want to listen to music before you say a prayer, when you have your priorities mixed up, when Jesus and your faith is not your number one priority, you're going to have problems in your life. And we've all been there. Nobody's perfect. We're all sinners. But we have to try to do a better job to be better people. And it says in the Bible, to whom much is given, much is required.
And we have a report here, too. Just a couple of days ago, I got this information as well. Last Saturday, and now I'm not sure how many people have heard this. I know this has been reported, but I'm not going to get into who reported what. But this is fairly consistent with the information that I received yesterday. And I was able to confirm it today by the actual source, who did not, by the way, want to come on and speak on the radio. But this individual was, let's see here, I want to be very careful with how I frame this. Okay. The National Guard, members of the National Guard, and this is a specific regiment, I'm not exactly certain what aspect, said that they were doing a survey. And again, I've seen this reported, but this is a little bit different than what's being reported. Asking for the records of law enforcement by the sheriff's departments here in various counties of people who own firearms. Okay, now let me just, I'm going through this. Okay. Okay. Now, let me repeat what I just said here, because again, this is like really bizarre. There's a story out about the National Guard asking police agencies, or asking people, I'm sorry, doing surveys, asking police agencies for residents of their respective towns who own a lot of firearms or long-distance shooters and military veterans. This is the story that's been floating around the internet. But concurrent with this story, I do have it on first-hand authority that the military, in the form of the National Guard, has asked a couple of sheriff's departments that I know of, or one sheriff's department that I know of, for a list of people who are gun owners. And my concern is this: why are they doing that? Obviously, but but the secondary concern is, why are they floating these stories that are kind of similar to what the information we have, and they're going to label this as urban myth, basically, when it's not. So I guess the point is this: the military is asking the sheriff's department for listings of people who own guns. At the same time, there are urban legends being circulated via emails to discredit the actual practice that I referenced here. I don't know if you get that or not, but that's definitely the story I've got. So that's just another dot in a maze of other dots. So and folks, I don't know if you've heard that before. If you get emails that sound like that, take those emails with a grain of salt. But understand this: we do have the information that does suggest that's taking place right now. So now also the information with respect to the caller or the individual that I talked to. The Sheriff's Department refused to provide any information to the military based on the fact that he's the Chief Law Enforcement Officer of the county, and in fact did not provide that information. And then it was also stated here that, well, I'm just going to keep that private because at this point, until I get further confirmation on that. So here's what we got. We got the military asking for a list of gun owners to a local sheriff, and the sheriff refusing to provide the same. And then we've got emails that are out there saying, "Hey, guess what? Listings of gun owners are being asked for and not supplied." And it's an urban myth.
And, yeah, we told you the Department of Justice was tightening background checks when it comes to purchase of guns until the Obama administration passes gun control legislation. And, it's sickening to hear this, and they will continue,
that's right.
These attacks on our freedoms until the guns are out of the hands. I was talking to a friend today who really isn't into the political scripture, biblical. I mean, he's not that spiritual a person. He's coming around slowly. I don't push him on it. But he said this to me. He said, we were sitting on my front porch, and he said, what happens if the welfare gets cut off? What would it be the outcome if welfare got cut off in America tonight?
51% of the American population would lose some sort of subsidy.
Yesterday, the article came out, over 100 million people are on federal aid. Okay.
That's no accident either. That's the plan.
They've taken the dependency away from the American people. They've made them dependent on government. This has been part of the plan the whole time. The reason they do this is so when the system does crash, the people will run to the government for their solutions. They want, as the video we played yesterday says, their God is government because it is the beginning and end of everything to a lot of people. And it is frustrating to see people so stuck, like I say, in the Democrat versus Republican mindset. So frustrating to see the talent wasted from journalists who, write terrific articles about things that mean nothing.
Okay, let's wrap things up here by saying this, folks. Everybody listening to this program, you're under attack. Yeah, there's a very present and imminent danger that is facing every person who's listening to this program, every citizen who is listening to this program, every citizen on this planet. Right now, you are under assault, under attack. This is an assault on you, the American people.
Yes.
We are, in fact, this is an assault on our intelligence.
It's an assault on
our freedom.
On the world.
Okay, it's a complete and total dismantling of our country by the powers, the dismantling of a constitution, the implementation and control from a dominant financial banking cartel by this financial authority overtaking this planet. It's not a coincidence that DHS is actually gearing up to prevent, with all kinds of riot gear to prevent uprising. It's because they know that there's an economic collapse coming, that they know that they're going to be exposed for what they are. They know that the engineered collapse has been people like us are talking about it, and they know that this is going to cause trillions of dollars of damage to this country, and rioting and mass rioting, and everything's the wheels are going to come off this thing. So get it and just understand it.
Just a thought for you guys out there who might not think that that's true.
There's no change coming with
look at this as the big picture. We have the Department of Homeland Security created. They label, terrorism as the enemy, which is
upside down and backwards.
Then now the manuals that list what kind of terrorists are, what the qualifications are. Americans basically are terrorists, especially if you are a constitutionalist, if you want a right to life. Basically, if you are like the people who founded this country, basically if you are a practicing Christian. Then they buy bullets,
right?
Enough to kill everybody.
All the thoughts are there.
Explosives. They're putting up what are those?
Pillboxes, but look,
the guard towers, they're putting them up in parking lots and Walmarts. I mean, the movements on the streets. The writing is on the wall, and we know it's coming.
Oh, look, you can say, look, this is such talk is usually referred to as conspiracy nonsense. I'm understanding of lunatics, but I'll tell you what, that's a rather hard argument to make. You could spit and hit an armored personnel carrier on the streets of America.
Yeah, when you have a unconstitutional TSA groping people, feeling their genitals for fear of terrorism strikes, when all the terrorism strikes seem to be created by the government, it is just ridiculous.
Look, if you're listening to this broadcast, you are a threat to national or potential terrorists based on the redefinition of that.
If you agree with what we say,
right? You're you know, based on the revised DHS lexicon, you are a terrorist. That's all you need to know. You need to know what's coming. If you want to know what's coming financially, look what happened in Argentina. If you want to know what's happening to our country with the Christians, look toward the World War II, Nazi Germany. This is a war against faith. This is a war against Christians. This is a war against the middle class. This is just an all-out war, and it is a civil war. It's more than that. It's a revolution. It's coming, folks. You got to prepare for it. Look, we're at the end of the show. I just want to thank everyone for listening. And we were all over the board tonight, and sometimes that happens. Sometimes, you know.
Yeah, we took a lot of calls, though.
Sometimes you get the bear, sometimes the bear gets you.
Yeah. And tomorrow we'll try to keep more information.
Saturday, Steve Quayle.
Yeah, Steve Quayle, 9 to midnight.
Sunday, Saturday, 9 to midnight.
Really looking forward to that show, as most of you are, as I can see from your response. God bless each and every one of you. Remember, be close to the Lord. Do something nice for someone if you can. Go out of your way to do it.
Thanks, everybody, for helping.